Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. This week I spent a considerable amount of time with the Bandage, not Bondage Knives Stitch, and this is what I learned. Now, unfortunately, I didn't spend quite as much time with it as I would have really liked to in a perfect world. That's just the way it goes with school and, responsibility. Is I don't just get to flip 24/7, but I have pretty well concluded on my thoughts of the Stitch. I think I'm in a place where I can finally kind of talk about it, and even though if it hasn't exactly been a week, it's been like 6 days. Might as well just talk about it now because I have to send it out pretty soon here. So I gotta be honest, I don't like it as much as the day that I got it out of the box. That doesn't mean that it's bad. I just my feelings have kind of calmed down on it a little bit, and now I can kind of see it in a more objective light, I guess. Whereas before I was just like ridiculously excited about it. Now I'm excited about it, but not quite as much. And there's two major reasons for that. One is the comfort, and two is, well, the comfort. Because this thing flips freaking amazingly. Like, I really do love how it flips. It's a live blade that flips like some of my trainers, and it's really good. To put things into perspective, this thing makes the Sliff T feel kind of heavy to me. Feel kind of heavy and clunky, which Sliff T is my favorite live blade out there, hands down. So to make the Sliff T feel heavy and clunky to me is crazy. It's just a little bit, but, and my Impusa, it also feels, the Impusa is always a balisong that's felt a little bit heavier. Not clunky. I also shouldn't call the Sliff T clunky. It's not. I'm just trying to make a comparison to the Stitch. But the Impusa has always demanded a slower, more flowy flipping style in my hand. So it stands out as just this really solid, light, agile flipper. I love it. I really do love it. It's got a tiny bit of a blade bias to it. I think either that or it's neutral. I can't really tell, to be completely honest with you, because it fans really well. It doesn't roll over the best, but it rollovers good enough. And then chaplains are on it. But my biggest problem with it really does just come down to the overall build and comfort of it. Because this thing, I think there's a few things that need to be changed on it, to be honest. Starting with the one thing that I think objectively needs to be changed is this tang right here. It is massive. Massive to the point where I can feel it on most tricks that I perform, and it just feels off. It's not that it messes me up in any tricks that I perform. It's like this thing still performs well, but your hand or your finger rubs across that tang, and it just doesn't feel good. And there are sometimes you'll get your finger too close in there, and it will it won't pinch your finger, but it will eject your finger. Like when you, this is a stupid example, but when you hit the ball into the ground in Rocket League, you build up the momentum and then it just goes flying out. It's like a pinch. It does the same thing to your finger because it just ejects your finger if it's too close. And it doesn't feel weird, or it does feel weird. I don't want my finger to be moved by the balisong. I want to keep it where it is, That's my biggest issue. It's kind of a nitpick, but at the same time, I really would like to see something changed. I'm not sure if that will ever happen because of the unique geometry that needs to go on in the Zen area to make this compatible with both reps and Krakens. But it's my second biggest complaint, but it's one that I think a lot of people are going to feel. One that is more subjective to me and not really something that I think needs to be changed is it's just too thin. I'm getting really sick of thin designs. The only thin design that I have that I really enjoy is the Impusa. I think the Impusa works as a thin balisong. I like it. The Nemesis isn't bad by any means, but I do wish it just had a square handle sometimes. Like, it would just be a little bit better, I think, if it did have square handles. And I think this is sort of the same way in my book. Again, I'm not saying this needs to be changed. I would like it to be a little more square. I think it would feel a little bit better. You would have this rounding of the faces of the handles would come through a little bit more, kind of like in the Prisma Pro. And I think it'd be really good. And then finally, I think my biggest problem is the chaplains. The chaplains just, they're just kind of uncomfortable. It doesn't chaplain bad by any means. You do require a little bit bigger circles because of that possible blade bias that I mentioned, but it's just uncomfortable. Like, I couldn't pull off the world record chaplain with this. I probably couldn't even make it 10, 15 minutes with this before my finger was just destroyed. And I think it just has to do with, I don't think it's the blade. It could be the blade spine. The blade spine could use a little bit less aggressive chamfering to make it a little smoother overall. But I think it's also just because, you know, you get the orange peel and you have the thin slabs of the handle, and it just comes together to make a very uncomfortable chaplain. But those are really my three main complaints, and not even really the only one I would say is a major complaint is this Zen area. Because the stitch just, man, this is a really good ballast song. This is the kind of ballast song that, this is like Sliff T for me. Not as extreme as the Sliff T was for me, but this is definitely something where if I had the spare money, I would go out and buy one for sure, especially since he revealed the blue and green ones that have the blue and green inserts for the zippy ones, which look so much better than the red in my opinion. The green one looks amazing, the blue one looks amazing, the stitch itself just looks amazing. I mean, look at it. The design is immaculate, and overall, even with my, at the end of the day, nitpick complaints about it, I'm kind of in awe of Bandage Knife's first attempt at making a ballast song. This is a hell of a good attempt. Holy cow, not a good attempt. Hell of a good first attempt. This is a really, really solid first design. I'm just really impressed. Like, it flips great, it feels great, the weight is amazing, the balance is amazing. To me, I love it. I really, really, really like the stitch. I think it's priced really well. I love the orange peel on it, the design, the zippy stuff, the blade especially. It's just overall a really solid ballast song, and one that I honestly would consider picking up if I didn't already have 3 live blades. Like, this is the kind of thing, if you ever make a trainer that flips like this and looks like this, dude, I'm all in. I don't know how into trainers you are, but yeah, that'd be something else. But yeah, that was my week with the stitch. Thank you so much to Bandage, not Bondage, for sending one out. Well, I guess including me in the pass around, I should say. This is the pass around unit, and I'm just one stop on the train track that is the media tour of the stitch. And I was happy to give you guys my thoughts on it. So thank you again to Bandage for including me. Great job, dude. Really, really impressed with this thing. And for the rest of you, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.